This is Veda Sports, only on the VSiN Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Fade Us podcast. Phil is still big timing us on a yacht somewhere in his penthouse, making $20 million a day. Mike just woke up.
I am so sorry.
He was 30 minutes late.
Apologize.
He said he came on here 20 minutes late and said, guys, I got to feed the cats. Apparently feeding cats now.
Actually, Woodley, we were
minutes.
supposed to start at 12:30. It is 1:01, so he's 31 minutes
31
late.
minutes late, but now he's here.
You guys, I literally
Don't have a life. Luckily, I don't have a life or things going on.
Neither of us.
I went to bed last night at 12 because I only had 3 hours sleep the night before. Like, Danny calling me woke me up so I was at 13 hours.
Danny doing the Lord's work for us.
Glad we could get Mike up. I would like to commend him for being able to almost wake up by 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's very impressive. So it's kind of a bad sports week. There's really not much going on. We'll talk about what is going on, but we're gonna kick it off. I know Cantu's been chomping at the bit with a couple rants.
I've got a lot of good stories. First, guys, do you mind if I got to tour Phil's new place? I was very first one to see it. The update is he wants everything. It's kind of like an ode to Elaine Wynn. He doesn't want to come in and change things. He doesn't want to rip out the cabinets or the couches. He just bought as is, likes it. Beautiful place. Just thought I'd give the update, because I think we need to give on this show as many Phil updates, since he's missing. Like we kind of miss him.
Do we really have to? I mean, let's just say Phil is in his own fucking world. We're here on Earth. And we could talk about what's going on Earth, or we could talk about what's going on in Phil's mind,
Actually, Mike's onto something. I do think we talk about what's going on Earth. I want to start. Did you guys see the slam dunk contest? Mike, did you see this? First off, they started it.
I heard it was really bad, though.
Oh, my God. It's the worst I've ever seen. It's two guys I've truly never heard of. The Heat guy, and I follow the NBA pretty good. And the first guy comes out, Jackson Hayes, and he puts down this dunk, and they give him a 46. All it is this. He's 7, 7'1".
I did see the winning dunk, and it looked like me running down the court going brum, 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 brum,
It wouldn't. The winning dunk and that Jackson Hayes dunk would not have made the Sports Center top 10 for the night. In fact, at my local YMCA, I see better dunks by like the white guys that that are about 45 out here. It was really an embarrassment, and I just don't know how the NBA can sit there and do this and put that same product on the floor like every day. It's the same. Don't try. Don't do anything. I can't stand it.
We can talk about the Olympics. United States hockey team 0-0.
What's your rant, Mike? You're breaking the format here.
Yeah. Give us
my
your rant.
My rant is about. I don't want to ever sound like Phil, but it's going to be about myself. I was really struggling once again playing poker. I had 3 consecutive losing days of 30,000 or more, and I was shook to the core. And yesterday, the game was absolutely insane with some very, very famous people in it, but I cannot name those.
Can you name the people, Mike?
I am not allowed to.
What list are we talking? Like A list, B list? What list are we talking here?
I'll just
like musicians, athletes. What do we give us a little hint?
I will say that one of the athletes in the game is the most famous athlete in the world, but in the world, not in the United States, the world.
Oh, and, I know who it is.
And so,
I know who it is.
Yeah, that's not. Mike pretty much told us, but
I don't
yes,
know if he's the most famous.
Yeah.
But he's top 2 or 3 for sure.
Yeah, so I didn't want to talk. Don't bring up that name.
I won't bring up the name, but go on.
So I was
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, exactly. I was up. I was up 9,000 for the day when I got picked up because all the famous people of the world decided to come play yesterday, and I couldn't get back in the game until I would say 11 o'clock at night. And then I finally got into the game, and boom, like the very first hand I get back in the game, I win a 50K pot, and I end up and I don't play for long. I end up winning 37,000 for the day.
That's good.
And they were a lot of people were upset that I got up, that I kind of hit and run the game. But I said, I felt like I didn't do anything wrong because I literally got picked up early in the day, waited all day, and I was exhausted. And so I was very proud of myself, losing that much money. Like, people don't understand, like, for me to lose 3 days in a row, 100K, and then bounce back.
Good job, Mike.
With a 37K win, it allowed me to take a few deep breaths in and then lay down. I was so exhausted because I had only had 3 hours sleep the night before. And so my rant is I'm proud of myself, staying the course, and booking a nice win.
Let us know in the comments below who you think this athlete was. I would like to see if anyone gets that. Go ahead, Woodley. What's bothering you?
Is bothering me. Well, I mean, I guess like NASCAR is the Daytona 500.
Who won? Who won the Daytona 500?
Reddick and Michael Jordan. But it was a complete shit show. They you took a really fun race, which is Daytona, which is like supposed to be exciting. Like, wrecks can happen anytime. Like,
that's the number one race in the world.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's happened with this new car or something or other, like the stage breaks, but they got to fix it because the last several races now, it's actually like a snooze fest till the later on, because it's like all they're trying to do is save fuel. So the first, I'd say 90% of the race is someone getting the lead and then cutting it to like 60% throttle. And they're just riding around at like 60% throttle the entire time. And it's so incredibly boring to watch. It's a horrible product. Like, these guys, and I get it. Like, they're trying to basically minimize their time on pit road and stuff. It makes for horrible television. And like, I don't know how to fix it, but you have to fix it. Like, it's literally NASCAR. It cannot be, we're driving around at 60% throttle to save fuel. It's just, I don't get it. Like, this is like the one opportunity they have to actually bring in casual fans. And like, I had a lot of friends tune in and they're like, dude, this sucks. This is boring. It's just a bunch of assholes.
It can't be worse. It cannot be worse than F1 in Las Vegas.
Nothing worse.
They got to fix it all, but it was kind of like the same thing. You could just turn off. You didn't have to watch any of the race. You could watch the highlights and you could have tuned in to the last 5 laps, because they didn't start doing anything until the last 5 laps. And then, of course, on the last lap, like 30 cars wreck, and then Reddick won. But they, I don't know. They got
serious again. Every single time I did miss the races because I was busy up all night playing and sleeping. But
I got to tell you what's really been bothering me, guys. Have you been following the Canadian men's and women's curling team? It really pisses me off. You want to talk about cheaters? These
dirty
Swedes,
cheaters.
Dirty cheaters up north. They're like the Russians in the doping scandal. I mean, here's the Canadians over there doing the pushing the rock forward. I mean, think about it. People think so like, bushly. Oh, it doesn't help. You're just
so bushly.
Pushing it straight. It's straightening it out. If you ever played shuffleboard, that would straighten it out. But by the way, the sting operation by the Swedes that was epic. And it was amazing that all the Olympics, how they don't have a camera on the hog line. That got me really fired up.
Yeah,
but
you know what? Like, Canada needs to get their shit together, because this whole time there's this Canadian guy, he hosts his own show, the Hammer, the Circles Off. His name is Rob Pizzola, and he's like, oh, like, Americans, would you be okay winning the title, the championship, if it wasn't going through Canada? And it's just like, dude, like, nobody cares about you, Canada. Like, the United States literally lives like rent free in their brain 24/7. Every Canadian I know will not shut up about everything U.S. politics, this, that, and the other. There's no culture up there. They're just obsessed.
You want
with
to hear
us.
something funny
And
about
you know
Canada?
what? They try to cheat in curling, and you know what? They should focus on like the one thing they're actually kind of good at, which is hockey. By the way, they can't win a Stanley Cup, but they almost lost today. They almost lost to the Czech Republic. They would have been out. They were down 3-2 with like 3 minutes left, and they got like a miracle. They got a miracle goal by Suzuki.
It's 0-0 with 15 minutes to go in the second period in the United States-Switzerland game. So
thank you, Mike.
One second. Yeah, I mean that will be way finalized before this is done. I was going to look at the medal count. They only had like 1 or 2 medals. Canada did.
It's a joke of a country. They need to probably join the U.S.
Donald Trump over here.
No, that was not a political
51st state. 51st state.
They need to, because there's such an embarrassment at this stage. And you know, I feel bad they haven't won a Stanley Cup in like 30 years, and
that's incredible. We can talk about that. Like
they at curling, like it's just
they have not won a Stanley Cup in 30 years. This is the birthplace of hockey.
What do you think? We'll go to our Olympics segment out of the way right now, I guess, and we'll run a little long on this one before we go to break. But did you guys see that? I don't whatever country he was from, it doesn't matter. But he got like bronze. He was one of those like biathlon guys that like, you know, where they're skiing a bunch and they like shoot the gun and all that. Did you see what he did? Like they interviewed him and he goes, I'd like to take this time to try to win back the love of my life. He was like, I dated this woman for 6 months.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't realize that she's loved my life. He's like, I cheated on her 3 months in, and he's like, I want to win. He's like, I'm going to humiliate myself in public and try to win her back. And then they interviewed her. They found her a day or so later, and she's like, I didn't ask for this. She's like, I'm the victim here. You're not the victim. Like, you doing this is like whatever.
I didn't see her interview.
Yeah. She's like,
that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, what a joker, man! Like, what a psychopath.
How about the speed skating where the guy from like Australia was like almost a lap behind? They all fell down and he won the gold medal. Did you see that one?
That was pretty good too.
Was that?
I saw that one.
I saw that, but I think that was from 2002.
No, this happened this year too.
Oh,
that happened like 20 years ago,
where they all wipe out. They get the skates too close.
I read the story about where it happened 20 years ago, and like the story back then was like it was a guy, like it was literally his last Olympics. He had like the worst luck ever. He had like gotten all these injuries, and then basically he like luck boxed his way in the semifinals, and the coach was like, "Listen, you can't compete. Just like hang behind and hope chaos happens." And I guess it's like what these guys. It's actually pretty smart if you think about it, because they're like, okay, listen, like you can't win. Like these guys are like. I mean, these are pros at the highest level. It's not like poker where like, you know, you could draw, you know, like you could get, you have like a one outer. Well, actually it is like poker. Your one outer is like the 3 guys ahead of you, like crash into each other. And that
makes sense. Pretty cool. Just avoid the chaos. I could see that when there's 3 really fast guys, you just know you're not, you know, from a weird country, not on that level.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to take our first break, and we'll be back and we'll talk about some NFL.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VSiN Podcast Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge, but what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset, now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing, pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. Mike, even more than that. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you'll get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets. We will be using that as well for some of these sports we're not experts on. Or we're really not experts on anything. That's why they call us Fade Us. But anyways, Mike wants to tell a story on this dead sports week, so we're gonna kick it over to him.
Can I say what's bothering me? Can I say what's bothering me next? Are you all right with that?
God, Mike.
This is what's bothering me. Mark Cuban goes on X. He is talking about how all teams need to embrace tanking. He's really for it. You'll have to go. He made a long.
I read it.
Did you read it? It upset me because the only thing I love is like when I watch sports, I want to watch top-notch competition. That's why I might bet the games, but I really don't watch that many. Like I have like my own ways of coming up with what I like, but I don't like to watch full games, and especially if you're not trying. Who wants to watch that? I just
Silver says he wants to shorten the games to and put in AI parts of the game because people don't really want to watch a whole basketball game. They want to watch clips. I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? We don't want to watch a whole basketball game because you don't even try half the time.
Yes, like that's what it is. And last thing, so the next day, what does Cuban have a part of? Kyrie Irving out for the year, wants to just rehab his old knee injury from last year. I'm like, come on, like it's just turning into such a joke.
Yeah,
I kind of think they need to. A lot of stories going around is they need to do the draft order by the All-Star break. So whenever you're at the All-Star break, that's the draft order.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because it's so unfair to fans that go around. And I mean, I couldn't even imagine. They're talking about for sure Seattle and Vegas are getting an expansion team as soon as the season's over.
And they should, by the way, and they should.
Okay, but we should talk about this. For it to work, okay? For it to work, for an expansion team to work, I think Woodley's frozen again.
That's all right.
But that's okay. For an expansion team to work, they're going to have to do in the NBA what they did in the NHL, which is I think you get to protect 4 starters on your team and 1 left unprotected. Because for an expansion team to work, you have to compete. There is zero chance that people are going to show up for a 10-win team or a 13-win team in Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has to have.
Well, maybe in Vegas, in Vegas they'd show up, but
they'll figure out. Yeah, they'll figure out a good way to do it because these expansion drafts. I mean, the Knights did it, and like what the Knights did is like they just they took a lot of bad contracts off of teams, like good players with bad contracts, and they were able to like stockpile a bunch of picks. So I think they'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, listen, the NBA regular season like sucks. The tanking is out. The tanking is out of control. The load management's out of control. They kind of don't know what's going on. Like they're actually losing growth, and it's not growing. It's only really growing in like China and like kind of the Middle East, but like that cash cow runs out pretty quick. So I mean, I don't know. And they talk about doing this like tournament at the end of the year for like the number 1 pick. It's like it sounds kind of cool in theory, but it's like I don't want to watch a bunch of shitty teams play. Like I don't care.
That's the reason why I'm against that. Is there's so many teams that are tanking that would literally be a playoff team or friends right on the cusp. So they would because they would always win against those teams that are at the bottom. So the tournament would make no sense.
I think they need to change the drafts. It'll never happen. But if you actually want to do it, you would change it to like auction style drafts where each team got X amount. And like, yeah, like if you finished in last, you got the most, but you could carry over the dollars 2-3 years down the road. And I think an auction draft would actually be really fascinating. Could you imagine like the bidding war that would happen?
I think this is a good idea. They were talking about like the top 10 that are going to go in the draft or top 5, and they're free agents, and anybody could. And you remember the hard salary cap. So let's just say this guy Peterson is supposed to be the number 1 guy out of Kansas, right? Like if you bid so high for some young kid, your team's going to suck because who are you going to fit the salary with? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, there's so many ways. By the way, I've read probably a dozen great ideas. I've read that one. That's a good one too, by Herolibus. I think that you're talking about. Great idea that the NBA says they just can't figure it out. This is it might not work on the first year, the first or the second year, but it will work once you get a good system. You've got to tweak some things. That's why the NFL, MLB has come out with like pitch clocks and all these great things and all these great ideas that make the game. Baseball is now back. Hockey is now back. The NFL is so on top. The NBA it's like Adam Silver needs to go. They just can't figure out their product. It'll be great once they figure out the product.
When you have players that are pompous ass that don't care about anything but money and partying and strip clubs, and they don't care about the fans, right? You have some people that sit there and they said straight out, "Well, I'm not taking any games off because." It was your guy from Minnesota, right? He says because so many of these fans get to go to 1 game a year, and I don't think it's fair that if I'm not playing, they want to come to watch and see me. And I've been saying that forever. And the fact that all this is happening is because they don't care about their fans. They could say they
agree
care
with you
about
on the
their fans.
Specific point, yes.
They would sit there and never miss a game if they cared about their fans. Even if they had to play, even if they were, don't want to play back to back, they can sit there and play 5 or 10 minutes, right? For the game, if they're further, because they had their injuries and it's hard for them to play back to back. It's not like they play hard. I will give them credit for one thing. The memo was put out on the All-Star game. You guys are going to play hard, or you guys are, or there's going to be severe consequences, because they
Who
played
said that?
Well, they played 4 quarters. They played 4 quarters, and they played their asses off in all 4
Well,
quarters.
I heard it's because Wemby basically was like, I'm going to play hard, and it's going to force everybody else. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, the NBA, it's just so broken to me.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now.
20 things.
There's one thing I do want to say right now. The guy who's playing the hardest in the NBA and the guy who played the hardest in the All-Star game, not just him, but
Ant.
But no, I can't believe what we're seeing out of Kawhi Leonard. He put up 31 in the game, all contested. Everything was contested. It was very hard.
Kawhi tries one time a year. You can't give Kawhi.
Like
what are you talking about? Kawhi going into the All-Star break has been the best player in the NBA. He actually leads the NBA
because
in
he's
scoring.
Worried he's about to get shipped out of LA and put into a dungeon. That's why he's trying right now.
That's the first time he's been healthy. That's why.
All right, we're gonna go to a break. This is just the worst segment for every reason. This is just the worst segment we've ever done.
What's there to talk about?
We'll be back right away. We'll be back.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VSiN Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. Hopefully you are still awake after that snooze fest that Mike was giving us on Kawhi Leonard, of all people. The triumphant rise of Kawhi before he is unceremoniously put in the proverbial dumpster. We're going to talk about a couple... We're going to get into a couple NBA picks, a couple other picks soon too, but I actually think there's a couple topics here that are like near and dear to our hearts on this podcast. And there's 2 football topics I want to talk about. The first of which is the world champion Seattle Seahawks. They win, they do the parade, everyone is riding high. That lasted about a week because the cold reality business is now set in. What's his name? Who's the guy that got the taunting call?
Tariq Woolen.
Yeah, he was like posting some emo stuff on like Twitter. Like reports are just flying around that a lot of these guys are not being re-signed. It sounds like Walker's going to be out. I did some digging. Apparently, like the way Schneider operates is he doesn't negotiate with guys before their last year. So like Darnold's not going to get a new contract right now. JSN will, and so will Witherspoon. But like Darnold won't. The other thing he does too is like when they decide not to re-sign a guy or extend a guy before the season, they pretty much just go in the season saying, okay, like we're going to play this out. We're going to let you test the market. Do us a solid though. Give us a chance to match or beat it. Like you go out. It's a pretty fair thing. They tell the agent, they say, hey, go see how much money you can get. Bring it back to us as a favor, because we're letting you do this, or we're giving, we're being above board, and then go do that, and then maybe we'll pick you up on that. So they're, it sounds like they're for sure going to lose Walker, which is crazy because he's a Super Bowl MVP, but like the guy's probably going to go get 13-14 million a year, like 2 to 3 years guaranteed. Charbonnet will be back. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay to a guy that's like only getting 50% of the.
I told you they probably wouldn't re-sign him. You said, they'll re-sign the Super Bowl MVP. But you got to remember, Walker wasn't even going to remain back until the injury. But Charbonnet probably won't be back at the beginning of the year. I mean, that was a pretty severe injury.
Yeah, but they can. But with running backs, like you can draft a running back, and there's like a million of these guys that will be like discarded. Like they could pick up an Aaron Jones for next to nothing. They could pick him up for like $3 million, and like they could use him for the first 3 games. I mean, I feel like running. It's kind of interesting. Like running is all about. The running backs are important when the weather gets bad and the playoffs happen, which is also when the weather's bad. Like I feel like you can survive the first 3-4 weeks of a season without
there's very few special running backs, but most of it is all about blocking and scheming and getting your guy free. Over the years, I mean, in the last 20 years, how many super great running backs have we really seen? I mean,
I think they'll probably, again, like the NFL is like so convoluted and whatever. But I think they'll actually end up getting like a comp pick or two as well, like when Walker does get re-signed elsewhere. So when you kind of think about it, and it's a tough business. But for him, he's probably earned the ability to go make $30 million somewhere, which is good money for anybody, especially running back.
He's going to get 3 or 4 years. 13.
40 yeah.
I bet how old is he? How old?
30
is
to
he?
50.
He's 26, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
25.
Wow, he's young.
He'll get like 36 million for 3 years.
Yeah. I think he's gonna get. Woodley, you said it kind of off air. About 13 million a year. Especially if he stays on the 3-year range. If he goes 4, it might be a little less.
And you can't use a franchise tag on him either.
This is going to be an unpopular Seahawks take, but I'd rather keep Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant. They're up. That defense, the synergy and how they move together is very unique. It's really, I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's so Legion of Boom, how they all know how to cover each other. I want to keep that whole defense together. And that does come with hard reality truths. Kenneth Walker might have to go, but I do feel like we can replace him for cheaper. I don't quite know what Woolen and Kobe are going to go for, but
I think Woolen will be back.
I hope so.
They have to re-sign him. He was amazing.
Like he's like elite.
Now,
yeah.
If Woolen would have lost the game for taunting, we would all three been like, "You're out." If we'd have lost that Rams game because that taunting penalty, but since he didn't, I kind of enjoyed that taunting.
Man, listen to this. Dude, his the draft class that Schneider had in 2022, which was like when they made the Russell Wilson trade, so they had all those extra picks.
I saw it. It's amazing.
Charles Cross in the first round, Nafe 40th, Walker 41st, Abe Lucas 72nd, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, Tyreek Smith, all in like the 5th round or later. Like that's insane. Yeah, I think they're gonna keep the defense around. I mean, they're gonna have to go give like Witherspoon like 25-30 million or whatever, worth every penny. I think as long as they have him and Tariq Woolen, I think they'll be fine. And I think Bryant, I don't think Bryant's a free agent. I don't know. These things are like always like so weird. And then they'll go obviously give JSN a big contract. And then honestly, I think they want Shaheed back. And at that point, like, I don't really know what you need if you're Seattle. You need to go maybe draft a backup running back. Like,
here's a question for both of you guys. So, like, in 2019, 2020, let's just say the first couple years of Patrick Mahomes' career, like, the offenses all around the league were exploding. The points were exploding. Now, and then I said it right then and there. These defensive coordinators are smart. They're going to study film, and they're going to learn how to stop these offenses. Now, the NFL is back to where it used to be. Everything's a defensive game all of a sudden. What does the NFL have to do to make the game more offensive? Because right now it's really defensive. Or what do you guys think?
I think it's perfect. I don't think it needs any tampering. When they did that 2013 to like 2018, the offense exploded because they did like no more hand checks. And I think it took a little while for the teams to figure out how to play D without, kind of bumping somebody at the line. That's my opinion. There was some other things, but that was the main thing, I think.
Because we used to always talk about how great the offensive coordinators were, and with all the rules and the new kickoff rules,
there's a lot of great offenses.
Points will be way up, and this year was the lowest the points have been in like 6 years, 7 years, something.
I just think, I do think defenses they're learning how to get better, but I still think it's perfect. The totals are real close to where they always have been on all the games. It's not far off.
Yeah. The other topic I want to bring up too, this will be a fun one, is like the number one thing is the number one, I think, conversation, and we touched on a little bit last week, but there's been more and more reports this week, is like the Vikings, they're definitely not rolling with JJ number one. Like they'll keep JJ as like number 2, see if they can, but there's no way they're rolling with him number 1. I mean, just so much stuff has come out. There's like a lot of reports out there, like all these guys want to play for him. Like the one that like is the easiest and makes a ton of sense, but is also most boring is like Kirk Cousins. Like, right? It's like, Cousins is like older, like
or the guy you hate the most,
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but they're too old. I mean, it's just like can those guys get you to the Super Bowl? I don't know. But where it gets really, really interesting is then you get. I don't think Burrow is going to happen, like, because they're going to have to give up. They can't afford them, and they're going to have to give up so many picks. they don't have enough picks to give up for him, and you're kind of almost going too far all in on it. So then you have a couple options. You have Daniel Jones, but he's coming off a pretty bad injury.
He already said he wants to re-sign with Indianapolis.
Well, they all say a lot of things, but the big one is the big one is
3-year deal.
No.
Oh,
I think it was 2-year, but it's voided or whatnot. It's Kyler Murray, because they say like the Cardinals are in this spot where they can't trade him, because if you trade for him, you inherit this insane contract that triggers in. The Cardinals want to move on from him because he's owed like a lot of money after this year. Basically, the Cardinals either they have 2 choices this year. 3. They can trade him, which they can't do. They can extend him, which I really don't think they want to do. Or they can let him play 1 year, but that's weird. Or just cut him and let him walk. And like there's a penalty with it, but like they're kind of rebuilding and they can kind of do. There's a lot of chatter that like Kyler Murray would then go to Minnesota on like a 1 to 2 year like reclamation type deal and like totally change his career around. Now, if you went to Minnesota, I'd want them to sign him to like what I would love as a Minnesota fan would be for the Vikings to basically give Murray what Seattle gave to Darnold last year, which is like, we're going to give you a 3-year contract. We're going to pay you a decent amount. We're going to guarantee you 2 of the years. But if you're the jackpot for us, we're going to have you for 3 years. And I would love to see the Vikings do that, because I actually think Murray has a ton of skill. He's had terrible coaches, terrible defenses, terrible teams. Marvin Wilson is terrible. Like
I would like to see Murray go to where to the sport that he's much better in, baseball.
He's 28,
and 28, okay. he was drafted by the Oakland A's, and I'd like to see him come play here in Vegas.
Yeah, but
he was an amazing baseball player.
He on Earth. Well, you and Phil can go on Planet Earth and talk, or Planet Phil and Mike can talk about that. But I think Murray, he's 28, still young, he's mobile. The thing too is like, yeah, maybe he's not he's kind of a smaller guy, maybe he's not the most reliable. But then you still have JJ waiting in the wings, where JJ's like 22. Like it's too early to write him off. And for all the crap that JJ did this year and how awful he did show flashes. And I think if you go in to next year with a QB room of Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy, and then maybe you draft a guy in like the 6th round, 5th round, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I think the Vikings all of a sudden are a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team at that point, Mike. I don't know. What do you think?
I think they're a playoff team with JJ McCarthy. They won 5 in a row to end the year to go over the win total. They won 9 games. Their win total in Vegas was 8.5.
I know, but McCarthy was pretty bad.
But they won the last 5 games and he looked pretty good.
Defense. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't turn the ball over at all the last like 4 or 5 games.
But the thing is like they're not comfortable going in with him as like the number 1 option. It's just like they can't. He's injury prone, attitude concerns. Like now these guys are kind of like, they feel, I mean, the GM just got fired, which was interesting. They actually said that Brian Flores was the reason he got fired. They said like Brian Flores was like getting offers like from all these other teams, like the Cowboys were opening up the checkbook for him and stuff. The rumor is like Flores went back to the Vikings and he said, I'll sign here, but you got to get rid of the GM Queasy. He's like, this guy's like terrible at drafting. Like he's not helping shit. Like you got to like let me and O'Connell handle this next draft. And then we can bring in a GM. And that's the big rumor. So these guys know it's kind of win now mode. So they're going to bring in a quarterback they think can win now. And I don't think that's Kirk Cousins. I don't think that's Aaron Rodgers. I do think that's Kyler Murray with JJ in the wings.
Well, we'll see.
Yep.
I like that play. What my number 1 pick, I'm going to move right into it. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they are hosting the Dallas Mavericks minus 11.5. And I really do believe that now that Cuban made those comments, it's going to be a full tank on, and we're going to see a blowout, like 30 points. That's my number 1 pick. I kind of already got into it, but now I'll just give it to you.
Well, I mean, it depends if Cooper, if Cooper Flag plays or not. He didn't play.
Cooper's playing. No Kyrie. I mean, I think they're benching everybody. Like, and they're not going to try to win. Even Cooper's not going to try. They're not going to play him like
they didn't play
minutes.
Cooper the last game before the All-Star break. But like this guy's put up 32 to 40 every game for the last 5. I don't know, man. I wouldn't lay 11.5 with the Timberwolves. They joke it off against all the bad teams.
They do.
I mean, he'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, they're a weird team.
It's a different world. It's so freeing when somebody tells you it's okay if we tank. It's just such a freeing thing when your owner says that.
I do know, I was looking at a lot of these games, and here's an interesting line. So I guess Curry will be back after he's missed the last 4 games, because there's no way that Boston is 2.5 over the Warriors on the road unless Curry is back. This is a line that is begging you to bet Boston. With that said, and I'm sure Kristaps Porzingis will probably be playing also his first game for the Warriors. I would probably take 2.5 with the Warriors at home. Boston off the All-Star break, going on the road across country to the West. And this line, the line just screams, how could the line be 2.5? Boston's the number 2 seed in the East. Jaylen Brown is the MVP front runner. And so when I see a line that begs you to take a side, I'll take the Warriors plus 2.5.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with them. I probably won't go with the Timberwolves. It's like, all I know is they're like the ultimate play up or play down to their competition for some reason. It's very frustrating, and I just really want the playoffs. I want the playoffs to get here so I can start caring about the NBA. Sorry, this is not the most compelling compelling analysis, but
this has got to be the only week where of like the history of the podcast where the 4 major sports are off.
Yeah,
this is like.
Well, I'll give you a couple bankroll builders as we head into Atlanta for NASCAR. Atlanta is it's not a super speedway, but it is kind of a super speedway. It's one of these races where like everybody's cars are basically exactly the same. They're all going to be like 1st through 30th will be within 1 second of each other, which opens it up, which means there'll be a lot of wrecks potentially and all that. And there's a lot of potential for a long shot to win. I'm going to give you 2 long shots. I'm going to give you Cole Custer at 80-1, who's actually really good at these type of tracks. I'm going to give you Ross Chastain at 22-1, because he's very aggressive and he can win this race. I think he may have won one here before, but anyways, those are 2 ones. Those are good. I mean, listen, like they're big long shots. I mean, I think you could hedge it a bit with like taking them like their top 10s and top 5s as well. But I kind of like this Cole Custer one at 80 or 90-1, depending on where you look. And
Cole Custer is a great name, by the way.
If I knew anything about NASCAR, I'd fill in. But I've watched like 3 NASCAR races in my life.
Well, I mean, we could have Jay White on here. Given Jay White actually called. Yeah, what I love about Jay White is I get a call from Jay White like every 8 months, and it's never. And a friend of ours, it's never like he never like texts beforehand or whatever. I was like, my kid had off school yesterday. We were at the American Dream Mall, which is basically like the Mall of America, but in New Jersey. It's actually bigger. And I took him to this like Ninja Park zone, right? And he's like, we're playing basketball there and we're having a good time. My phone starts ringing and I'm like, Jay White, what is Jay White calling me for? And so I didn't answer, and I meant to like reach out to him or text him, but he never texted me either. This is just like the Jay White experience. Every 8 months I'll get a call from him.
You never
and
know.
Usually it's like, hey, would you like to put $2 million in for a NASCAR sponsorship? It's like out of the blue.
My Jay White calls consist of Mike. He's drunk. Mikey, what do you think? I think I'm betting this today. What do you think? Yeah, that's my Jay White experience. I just found another NBA game that I really like, and I want to throw it out. Is before the suspensions from the fight, like Charlotte had won 9 in a row. They had not won 8 in a row in the century. They were the last team left, right? And then they got the fight. They suspended them. They lost. Well, they're getting 3.5 tomorrow against Houston. Why do I like this game so much? Because they're playing a back-to-back the very next day against Cleveland. Okay. Now, Cleveland, since they've gotten James Harden, have blown everybody out. They're on like a 6 or 7 game winning streak. Okay. Cleveland plays Brooklyn. They're laying 15.5. Okay. And they're just going to nonchalant through that game because they have the back-to-back against the rising Charlotte Hornets the next game. Well, what's going to happen is, wow, Charlotte's going to be like, oh, my God, we're probably not going to beat Cleveland tomorrow. So let's go all out against a Houston team that's fading. And I don't know if you heard what Durant was saying about Sangoon. He's like, the guy can't shoot, the guy can't rebound. He threw his player under the bus, and Houston's been losing a lot of games. So give me the Charlotte Hornets that have won 9 out of 10. The only game when they had all the suspensions for the fight, at plus 3.5 against Houston, because they play Cleveland the next day in a back-to-back.
Tough. That's a tough back-to-back. I don't think I like that. I'm going to go no. I think they lose 2. I think they lose back-to-back there.
They have not lost 2 games in a row since early December.
Well,
like that.
That's
Mike
tough
and Mike and GRP are on the Hornets.
I do like the Hornets.
GRP is trying to sell off more of his Hornets futures.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy any?
I think I might, because I think he's crazy. I think they're making the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they're only, by the way, they're only 2.5 back of the division. I don't know why he would sell this off.
Let's have him. Let's have him on here. Let's
get GRP next week. I need to talk to him about these Hornets picks, and it'll be nice to see how they look. Next week we'll finally have a couple.
You guys say 0-2. You guys say 0-2. I wouldn't be surprised if they even beat Cleveland.
You should buy the picks. We'll have them on here. You guys can negotiate.
I think that'd be fun.
I think this team is hit finally on all the draft picks. They're young kids like Miller has coming of age. Ball has always been good, but he had nobody to play with. I mean, he was he was always the best Ball brother coming out.
They said 3 rookies that
they said that he was always going to be the best.
Off the bench.
Knipple. We talk about Cooper Flagg from that Duke team. I remember Phil was raving about Knipple, and this guy's playing incredible. I love the Charlotte team.
I like Kalkbrenner, the white center that is kind of like Ophi, and he's doing good too. They got a bunch of good rookies. Sion James, they got a bunch of good rookies over there. They're all playing good.
There's a lot of these top teams that we follow the last 10, 15 years. They're just going to go into oblivion. I mean, and all the teams that were in the oblivion are coming, and not only coming, but the Spurs. The Spurs have arrived. Okay, they have hit every draft pick. Stephon Castle. I mean, I knew he was good with UConn, but this guy is a superstar in the making. You put him with De'Aaron Fox, a superstar already, and you put him with Wemby, who might, if he doesn't get injured, will be the best player to ever play the game. This team has arrived. They are a top 3 pick to win the NBA title this year. I told you last week I think Denver's going to win it. And you have OKC. They're a monster. Who knows? They're coming. They're coming. They're coming fast.
Yeah. Well, nothing. I have nothing more to add there, other than we need to get GRP on this next week. We need to work out a deal.
We're gonna maybe get a deal next week with Mike GRP. What's that?
Throw a break in.
Yeah, we'll get Mike and GRP next week. We'll figure this out. Anyways, we got to hit one more break, and we will be right back to figure out how to fill 5 to 6 more minutes of the unpleasantness that we had to cut out earlier. We'll be right back.
We ain't cutting that out. Fuck that.
You're listening to Feta Sports on the VSiN Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. Long debate during the break about what possibly there is to talk about and in regards to betting, but I think we found a topic. I think we found a topic that's near and dear to home that we're all pretty passionate about, and that is the U.S. men's hockey team and their chances. Now, as we speak, it's 1-0 at the start of the third period. We're going to take a huge leap of faith here and hope that they pull it out so it doesn't just kill the rest of this entire thing. But yeah, the question here is do you guys think they can win the gold? I think they can. I mean, this lineup is, this whole roster is just freaking stacked. It's young. I mean, the Wild GM is the guy that put it together. He's been involved in USA Hockey a long time. My Wild are representing on this team. They got
Vegas Golden Knights have Hannafin and Eichel.
They got Hughes and Faber and Boldy, guys that are going to be on the Olympic roster. These guys are going to be on Team USA the next 12 years. This is kind of their next core. Man, they look great, man. These hockey games are like phenomenal. And like I said, as long as they can get past Sweden here, which is a very tough out, I think they cruise. I think it's all shaping up for a Canada versus USA final, and I think the USA pulls it out. But I also think it's gonna be like one of those classic like 1-goal games or like overtime games, because like both of these teams' power plays are sick.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You guys weren't even alive for the Miracle on Ice, I don't think, in 1980. I remember watching it with my dad in bed, like I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and we were watching it. And you got to remember, back then it wasn't live. It was already decided that it was on tape delay. So it was like 8:00 at night, and it was everything was on tape delay from Lake Placid. And there will never be another Miracle on Ice, because that was basically a minor league team going against like the best hockey team in the NHL. And somehow they beat them 10-1 the first time. And somehow this miracle happens. The fact that since then, even when we had pros, right? We didn't have pros the last 4 since 2017. So that's, what's it, every 4 years? Yeah. So the last 3 hockey teams, but even when we had pros, we have not won gold. And this is the year, could be the first time, would be in 45 years that 46 years that the U.S. could win gold in hockey. And it really is a big story going around right now. So,
I didn't realize we hadn't won it since then. Yeah, this would be fun.
So I'm kind of.
You can't let Canada win. I just can't live with that.
I do believe it's crazy. You guys are not going to like my take on this, but if it's a USA Canada final, okay, which it looks like it's going to be, it will be more watched game than the Super Bowl. And you will see. You don't understand how big this is. It is bigger than big.
That it will not be that big.
You do know this was the lowest rated Super Bowl in 30 years, this last Super Bowl. Like,
no, that's not true.
It is.
It's actually not true. That's actually not true. That's actually not true. It's the second. It's the second highest. It was like a little bit. It missed a little bit.
After halftime.
You're lying. Dude. You're just making this.
You're just making.
Oh.
Okay. You want me to look it up?
Yeah. Yes, I know for a fact. It was,
maybe in the fourth quarter. Down 20. Yes. Yeah. It's unbelievable what he does here. It's like literally the second highest of all time, because last year's was the highest, and it was down like 0.5%. And they're basically like, well, yeah, because like last year had Philadelphia and Mahomes. Like this year had like 0 star power. And so like a couple people didn't watch it, but like the least watched in 20 years.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of people that turned it off at 19-0 or
in America,
hit the road from the bar.
Yeah, people will all watch the U.S. versus Canada, and it'll be a big moment, but people will not care like 72 hours later. They won't talk about this for another 4 years. Bigger than the Super Bowl is the dumbest thing.
When I'm wrong, I admit I was wrong. Okay, I wasn't just making something up. I missed.
So it had more viewers than Super Bowl I, right, Mike?
They got to bounce because I'm on a deadline, and Mike torched. He took a blowtorch, flamethrower, rocket launcher, bazooka to a segment earlier. That
we had to do extra.
Okay, so
a lot of extra work.
It had a surprising 124.9 million viewers. Okay, so I was wrong. I'm saying I'm putting my thoughts right on out there. If the U.S. and Canada play in this hockey final, there will be more than 124 million people tune in for this.
Mike, stop. It's not even going to be close.
I could be wrong.
You will. I don't think it's going to get above 30. Okay. Like 30 would be a crazy audience.
You'll see.
I'm not some hockey ratings aficionado.
Every
it's not even
single person who lives in Canada will be watching it. And every single person who ever watches hockey in the United States will be watching it. Okay?